Let me take a wild guess. You've been dumped and all you can think about is the breakup. Your brain is on a loop, asking why did this happen? What did I do? What do they mean? And so on. And this can go on for quite some time and it can literally drive you crazy. And then what we start saying to ourselves, I need closure. But do you really need closure? Does your ex have the answers? Or is that answer within you somewhere? And that's what we're going to explore today. We're going to go and get into the subject of closure and what that really means and how to really get what you need. But before I do that, welcome back to The Love Fix. It's Nick, as always, doing my best to get you through your breakups as easily and as healthily as possible. If today's video is not enough for you and you need my help with your breakup situation, with your heartbreak, you can email me at thelovefix20@gmail.com. We can set up a one-to-one coaching session with you. It'll be a good opportunity for you just to get it all off your chest. We'll talk about it, discuss, analyze, break it down, get some answers, get you pointed in the right direction, and most importantly, just getting you feeling a little bit better, because that's what you're after, really. If that's not enough for you, come and join the Facebook group. Go to Facebook, type in The Love Fix Breakup Recovery, answer the membership questions and join. It's a great resource for support with breakups, and there's over 14,000 people in it now. Okay, with all that out of the way, let's talk about closure. So the concept of closure is an interesting one, and I think most people go about it the wrong way. A lot of people will say, I need closure from my ex, but that's essentially thinking backwards. That's a scarcity mindset. That's not an abundance mindset. It's not accepting the reality of the situation. And I get why. Your limbic brain, your emotional brain, is trying to find answers because it still thinks the relationship is real. The limbic brain has kept the human race alive for hundreds of thousands of years, and it's the part of your brain that says, I'm cold, find heat. I'm hungry, find food. I'm lonely, find connection. And it's simply trying to make sense of it. And then your logical brain is actually trying to apply logic to feelings, and then we get a whole load of mess. And I guess this is why channels like mine exist, just to, unfuck our brains, basically. But let's assume for 1 second that you are planning to reach out, or you have reached out to your ex for closure. No matter if your ex answers all your questions truthfully and to the best of their ability, your brain will come up with more questions, or worse, won't accept the answers you've been given. And this goes back to your limbic brain. The only answer it wants right now is a reconciliation. It doesn't want to dig any deeper than that, because that's going to threaten your emotional survival, and that then threatens your identity. And when those two things are threatened, it feels like an emotional death. So we construct these stories where we make ourselves the hero of that story, and we can do no wrong because our ego and our self-esteem can't take it. But if our self-esteem can't take some constructive criticism, then we really need to work on our self-esteem. Also, you must ask yourself, could you have done better in the relationship? Maybe the closure, quote unquote, is that you fucked up and your ego just can't handle that your partner had enough love for themselves to detach, to say the romantic relationship I shared with you no longer works for me. And I've tried, I've communicated with you, I've tried to tell you what I need and what I want, and you're not listening. And they said, okay, I don't hate you. They may even still love you, but they have enough love for themselves to let it go and to walk away. So you've done the mental gymnastics, you've watched everything on YouTube, you've read all the self-help books, and maybe that still isn't working. And now you've convinced yourself to reach out to your ex for closure. Okay, I can't stop you. So right now I'm going to support you. So if you are going to ask for closure, let's do it correctly. Many of you ask questions like, why did you dump me if you still loved me? Well, guys, it doesn't matter if they loved you or not. What matters is, were you both serving the other and filling each other's cup, because love is never enough. Better questions would be, and if you really want to poke the hornet's nest here, would be, what about me turned you off and made you leave? I am asking this question because I want to improve myself. Now, this requires you leaving your ego at the door. This requires you to be receptive to very honest and brutal feedback. But I would still argue that this is backwards thinking. I'm a big believer that the answers are within ourselves. But here's the thing. I think closure can be more of an issue if we have one-itis thinking. One-itis thinking is only my ex understood me. Is saying, I never felt connection like this before. Like, you could never have this with anyone else. But guys, there are 8 billion people on the planet. The odds are forever in your favor, to quote the Hunger Games. Did I just quote the Hunger Games? Jesus. So just because you've never felt connection like this before, just because you've never been this in love before, and so on and all that great stuff, doesn't mean it can't happen again. And maybe this person just triggered your trauma wounds. Maybe this person was just reenacting the dysfunctional relationship you had with your parents, and that's normal to you, and you've mistaken that for real, healthy love. But here's the thing. If you did reach out to your ex and you asked the right questions, would you be given the honest answer from your ex? Would they even give you the honest answer? Because most people will not be honest with you in this context. Not because they are liars, but because they don't want to hurt you. Your ex is already thinking they've hurt you enough by leaving, and they can see that you're upset and distraught. So they don't want to go down that road. So based on that, and based on a reliable assumption that most people are not going to be brutally honest with you because they're typically good people, they don't want to hurt you, you are not going to get the answers that you want. And therefore, if right now you can't be brutally honest with yourself, if you can't give yourself if you can't ask these questions of yourself and you can't give yourself those answers, then that is what I'm here for. And here comes the tough love, so strap in. You already have the closure. Closure was given to you the second they decided to leave the relationship you both shared. So, if that's the case, you've got closure, because what you're really trying to do, you're really trying to deny the truth of the situation. You should be asking yourself, what is the truth of my ex's actions? You need to be asking yourself that, and you also need to be asking yourself, okay, what about me turned them off? What about me turned them away? What didn't I get right? And guys, you might be sitting there thinking to yourself, because I hear this almost on a daily basis, I did everything right. I did nothing but love them. I did nothing but care for them. But maybe you smothered them. Maybe you were anxious, needy, and over-communicated. Or maybe you were dismissive, avoidant, and you didn't communicate enough. Were you listening to their needs? Were you asking, what can I do for my partner, rather than asking, what can my partner do for me? Were you too nice and didn't hold your boundaries? Because trust me, that is a relationship killer. Were you listening to respond because you always wanted to win the argument, rather than listening to understand and taking the criticism on the chin? Were you not giving them alone time when they asked for it? Instead, you were just blowing up their phone, or you protested their need for space. Were you being passive-aggressive and playing games rather than communicating how you felt about the situation and trying to meet each other in the middle and find a compromise? The list could go on, but the fact is you already have the closure. They left. And I know that is a brutal thing to listen to. And if you can't give this brutal honesty to yourself, if you can't be your own best friend, then guys, I'll be your best friend for you. And here's the thing, best friends stab you in the front, they don't stab you in the back. They tell you the truth, not out of hate or trying to be nasty because they see the potential in you and they want you to do better. What you are really seeking is clarity surrounding your feelings about how you feel. But that already lies within you. Therefore, I am encouraging you to find closure internally. You know where you are strong in a relationship and you know where you need to improve. If you don't, then either book yourself in for a one-to-one coaching session with me or go and talk to your ex, and I wish you the best with that. I can promise you that 9 times out of 10, your ex is going to bullshit you. Your ex isn't going to give you the answers that you seek, and even if they did, you probably still will not believe them. You are hyper-focused on one person out of 8 billion. That one person decided they no longer wanted to be with you. That doesn't mean you're not a great match for someone else, but you must work on the parts of you that are weak. You're no less human than the rest of us, because we've all got shit we need to be working on, and the process never stops. Your closure is that they left because something stopped working for them. Their feelings for you changed. The feelings for the relationship changed. The next part of your closure is radical acceptance of the situation. The last part of your closure is move forward and improve yourself. My friends, you already have the answers. You just don't like the sound of them. You don't like the answer right now. You don't like the answer right now because it doesn't fit your preferred outcome. Your preferred outcome is to get your ex back, is to reconcile, and it's okay. I get it. I've been there. Trust me. I've done the mental gymnastics. I get it. But what your ex is thinking no longer aligns with you. And that's the real painful part of it, is because you've gone from that person wanting you to not wanting you. And that is hard to take. It literally threatens our emotional survival. And if something threatens our emotional survival, it feels like an emotional death. And that's where the real pain is. But radical acceptance of your situation, of your reality, of saying, okay, I'm not going to look backwards. I'm not going to look backwards for closure. I'm not going to go and get that from my ex. I'm going to get that from myself. I'm going to get that from therapy. I'm going to get that from coaching, reading self-help books, improving myself, identifying where I need to improve. That's the closure. That's the clarity that you're looking for. Okay, so look, there are plenty of things that I have to work on. There are plenty of things like I'm writing a book, and when my editor comes back to me and says, Nick, this chapter is shit, you need to rewrite it. Okay, it hurts because it's threatening my identity, because I think, well, no, I worked hard on that chapter. I put a lot of work into that chapter, and how dare you? But she's not telling me to be nasty. She's telling me because she wants me to be the best that I can. So I have to find the answers within myself. Not go back and can you validate me and give me closure on this chapter? No. Accept the criticism, figure out where I'm weak, and work on it. And that's the same with a breakup. And that's all I've got for today. Always remember, guys, you are going to be okay. It sucks right now, and that's okay. It's meant to hurt. But we learn our best lessons in our worst pain. And I've helped a lot of people now. I think around maybe 350 to 400 one-to-one. Thousands through my Facebook group and thousands through this channel. And most people are getting there. Most people are taking the feedback and they're getting there and they're doing better. They've got better lives now. They've improved, they've up-leveled, they've become a better version of themselves, and they're finding better partners. Your ex taught you exactly the lesson that you needed to learn. Don't deny yourself of the opportunity of growth. As always, I'll see you on the other side.